Hi, boys and girls. It's Mrs. Pingle again. Welcome back to another week of technology and STEM. So, this week in technology, we're going to be focusing on coding and doing different coding activities. Those of you that were at Pritchett in second grade, we actually did quite a bit of coding. You came to the project room and we learned what coding means, and you got to do several different stations that all involve different coding activities. If you weren't here in second grade at Pritchett, or if you maybe forgot what coding means, remember coding means giving a series of commands or steps to make something happen. So, whenever you use an app on your iPad or a phone, when you press buttons, something on your phone or your iPad happens. That is because somebody set up those commands or programmed your iPad or your phone to follow those commands and do what you want it to do. We are going to be learning some more different types of coding this week and practicing and reviewing some of the things that we learned last year. Today we're going to start by watching a quick brain pop video that will review what coding means and tell us some new things about coding and computer programming, and then we will do a couple quick review things after that, and then the rest of the week we'll be doing all different kinds of coding activities. So let's start by watching the brain pop video.
Dad! Have you been standing here all night? Uh-oh. Were you dividing by 0 again? Dear Tim and Moby, what is computer programming? Thanks, Amy. You picked a good time to ask. Moby zapped his operations chip and he can't seem to do anything. Right, buddy? Don't worry, I've got you covered. We'll just switch you over to voice command. There. Now I can program you until your replacement chip arrives. I know, your brain is no ordinary computer. But it does have some things in common with the ones people use. Computers can do all sorts of amazing things, from navigating the internet to piloting an airplane. But they can't do anything at all without a set of instructions. That's all a computer program is, a series of steps that a computer can follow. And somebody has to write those steps. Unlike you, computers can't really understand English. So programmers have to write their instructions in special languages. That's called coding, and the lines of instructions are known as code. There are literally hundreds of different languages. Thankfully, you don't need to know any of them to understand some programming basics. Just follow along as I code Moby. Okay, Moby, walk to the counter. Alright, sorry about that. I have to remember that programs need to be really specific. They have to be step-by-step ordered instructions, an algorithm. That's why so many programming tools automatically number your lines of code. Let's try it. Moby, first lift your right foot, then move it ahead of your left foot, then put it down. Great! Let's call those 3 lines step right and save it as a function. That's like a mini program we can call on whenever we want. Now, let's make an identical step function for the left foot. Moby, step left, then step right. Now repeat lines 1 and 2 over and over. Repeating a section of code like this is called a loop, and it's something you can do in any programming language. Moby, stop, then walk back here, then stop. You've just been programmed. Lift your arms in triumph. Yeah, it is sort of like making a recipe. Instead of telling a computer what to do, you're telling it how to do it. Speaking of recipes, how about making a peanut butter sandwich for lunch? Moby, first put peanut butter on 1 slice of bread, then use the knife to spread it around. Okay, keep it together. Programmers have to be patient. You have to keep refining or iterating your code until it works the way you want it to. If there's a mistake or bug, you have to find out where it is and fix it. Moby, first open the peanut butter jar, then use the knife to scoop out some peanut butter, then spread it on a slice of bread, and finally put another slice on top. That's closer, but I think I'll just get lunch at school. Hey, that reminds me, I'm late. Quick, Moby. First, walk to a seat, then sit down in it. I can't take you anywhere. Here, try this. First, check if the closest seat is occupied. If no, then sit. If yes, then move on to the next seat and repeat. Yup, and we got to another big part of coding, conditional statements. That's when the program looks at an unknown value or variable and does different things depending on what it is. In this case, the variable was whether the seat was empty. Moby looked at one desk, judging its condition as occupied or empty. Based on what he saw, he moved on to the next desk or sat down. In other words, he took inputs and used them to generate outputs. Right, the computers most of us use don't have fancy eye sensors like you do. Instead, they have input devices like keyboards, mice, and touchscreens. The inputs are the things you type and the places you click or tap. And the output is how the computer processes your input. You need a program to what now? Oh, Ms. Lynch, can I get a bathroom pass?
Okay, boys and girls, so some of the things in that BrainPot movie are a little more advanced than we're going to be getting into, but we are going to be talking about some of those things. We're going to be setting up series of commands or sequences like they did in the BrainPot movie. We're also going to be talking about loops this week, and we're going to be talking about debugging. So when there's a problem with your code, we're going to talk about how to go in and check and fix your codes. So what I would like to do first is just review how to get to some of the coding websites on my website, because we're going to be going through and doing some lessons on code.org for our coding activities this week. I know some of you may be really good at coding. I know we have students that do coding and things outside of school. So some of the lessons that we're going to do this week may not be challenging enough for everybody. But we do have some kids that maybe haven't done a lot of coding, so we need to start and make sure everybody is kind of at the same place and has the basics for coding before we get too challenging. So if you do the activities this week and they're not challenging enough, I'm going to remind you how to get to some of the websites to challenge yourself a little bit more. So even if you're really good at coding, I still want you to go through the lessons that I'm assigning, so I know that everybody's had the experiences of debugging and looping and sequencing. But if you feel like you need to challenge yourself more, then you can decide to do that. All right, boys and girls, so I'm going to show you now what you can do on the other days when I am assigning coding lessons through code.org. If you do those lessons and you feel like they're too easy and you want more of a challenge, here's what you can do. You're going to go to Safari either on your iPad, or if you're on a computer, that's fine too. You're going to open Safari and you're going to go to d102.org. Okay. And then you're going to go up here to students, and then go over here to staff directory. Once you get to staff directory, you're going to click on P for Pingle, and then scroll down until you see me. There I am. And you're going to go over here to website. Okay, once you get to my website, there's a page over here called Coding Websites. And then these are all the different coding games you can play that will have more of a challenge for you than the lessons, okay? So you can either choose one of these to play. These are the Hour of Code games, or you can go down here and you can go to code.org/learn, and there's more games there to play. Again, you don't have to choose to do these. This is only if you feel like you want more of a challenge. So tomorrow will be the first code.org lesson. So tune in tomorrow. Go to Seesaw to find your first lesson there tomorrow. If you have any questions, you can let me know during win time, or just go ahead and shoot me an email.